Is there one memory that hits you when you do come back to the grounds? A specific match or year or?
Yeah, no, it's not ever one match. You know, it's always a group of matches, and what years were they? But you know, certainly getting to the final of Wimbledon, you know, back in '59, I guess it was, and then you know, in 1960, I was in the final, and then of course, being able to win it in '61 and '62. Those memories stick, and I think you do remember a lot of the matches that were played. You know, getting to the final. Some of the matches were pretty scary. You know, when you're down 2 sets to love and you're battling, not playing your best tennis, but how do you get out of that time to try and stay in the tournament? What do you do? So you know, those type of things come along. I think probably the biggest change was when open tennis came, and we had the first pro Wimbledon in 1967, and I think that was the beginning of you know, open tennis, and I think that was sort of the start that Wimbledon pretty much forced open Wimbledon and open tennis. You know, I think Wimbledon, you know, pretty much, you know, forced open tennis into the world. You know, with playing a pro match right after the 66, you know, match. You know, right after that in '67, you're gonna have a pro Wimbledon, and that was Rose Wall and Hode, Gonzalez, Emerson, myself, you know, Butch Buchholz, you know, Fred Stolle. So we were all there, just eight of our best pros, and it was a success. They filled it the last 2 days, and you know, when you look back at that, and then you know, come to 1968. When it's open to all. Yeah, I mean, that really, you know, sort of sits in my, you know, memory bank as being, you know, such a great feeling, because, you know, prior to that, I spent 5 years in the pros, pretty much roaming around the world doing 1 and 2 night stands all over the place. And I had to turn professional. There was nothing for me. And, you know, you couldn't make any money from the amateur world. And if you tried to make something out of tennis, they would turn you professional anyway. So, you know, where was anybody going to end up? And I think that it was disappointing, you know, when you realized, looking back, you know, when you're in the amateur world and you're playing these events and you think it's great to be at Wimbledon and the US Open, but when you finally get through, when you look back and say, well, what was I going to do with my life? You know, be a you know, not a bum, but I mean, not have any, you know, position that you'd like. You'd have to sell insurance, own a pro shop, own something that to keep you going when you're over the hill. So '68 with the Open Wimbledon, you know, was really the beginning of open tennis. And I think '69, when I won it against you know, John Newcomb, you know, was probably some of the best matches that I played at Wimbledon.